City beating Bayern 3-0 in that first leg of the Champions League quarter-final. Unbelievable performance. Did you see that coming?
No. I was slightly nervous, to be fair. More so when Tuchel became the manager. But I didn't see that result. I've seen the performance because City have been playing really well of late, but I thought Bayern would be better, which would lead to a closer game in terms of outcome, but City were dominant and comfortable.
We've seen City look really good in the Champions League in years gone by, and then suddenly something comes out of nowhere and derails. Not the jinx, but this does really look like it's shaking up in your head, doesn't it? Do you feel that confident?
No, I'm going to keep saying no because I've said yes every other year and it's never happened, so I'm going to keep saying no and hopefully I'm wrong again. But yeah, it felt different the other night. Obviously, I think the stature of Bayern, the calibre of player they played against, the size of the club, the experience they have in the Champions League means it's different. But again, there's still so many games to go. One of them could be against Real Madrid as well, so yeah, you would never kind of rule them out.
When we look at City in the past, and it hasn't gone right, do you think that is just bad luck? Is that just knockout football, or is there a mentality problem there? Because that final against Chelsea, for example, I think most fancied them to win it and it didn't go right for them on the night. Do you think there is a mental block of not winning it?
Not a mental block. I think there's so many elements to it. Experience, previous games, just on the night as well. Luck, you have to have luck in the cup competition, especially the knockout stages. So there's so many factors that would mean you don't win, and factors that you do win. And as I said, I don't think anyone has a divine right to win the Champions League. I think Real Madrid proved that last season. The kind of running they had, probably one of the most difficult ever, and came back from games that people just wrote them off in. So I think apart from them and that club, I think you shouldn't be surprised by anyone winning the competition.
Looking ahead to that second leg, how do you think Bayern approach that game going into the 3-0 down? Very difficult for them, isn't it? Yeah,
it's going to be a tough ask because they're going to have to score in the first half, in my opinion, which could lead to being open. And even though you need to score and you can be kind of direct and forceful in your approach, City will have a possession like a spell, and whether that's 20, 30, 70 minutes of a game, and more often than not they score. So they're going to have to possibly score 4 goals because not many teams keep City out, and I don't see that happening, especially with the circumstances. So the game's going to be open, it's going to have to be open due to the score line. So yeah, I'm confident City go through.
Chelsea going away to Madrid, losing 2-0. You wouldn't say the tie dead at this stage, but it's going to be a tall order for them. How do you think Frank goes about that? Because he's got a similar dilemma to Bayern, hasn't he? He doesn't want to go too open and potentially lose the tie early.
Yeah, I know, and I think the result of it being 2-0, with everyone genuinely still believing, and rightly so, that they can go through, I think that will help the atmosphere. I think if it was 3-4, I think it's subdued. No one's going to believe there's optimism more than real belief. So I think that result helps. Again, it would help them getting an early goal. He's going to have to find a way to nullify Vinicius Junior and Benzema because they're so impactful. Even if they're not playing that well, Benzema was pretty quiet for Benzema last night, but he scores. Vinicius Junior was good, got 2 assists kind of. So I think he has to find a way to keep them quieter. You're not going to keep them quiet because they're world-class players, but nullify that threat and then hopefully create enough chances that someone's comfortable in front of goal.
What do you make of this Real Madrid team? Because not so often you watch them, they don't look like they're at the races, but the results they've had over the last few years are unbelievable. Where do they rank in terms of previous Real Madrid teams who maybe have more star names, but these guys have achieved just as much, haven't they?
Yeah, I think the glamour of the names is different, and I think a lot of these players, when it's all said and done, will be regarded as that, and then the younger ones will blossom into that. But they have to be right up there because the outcome is the same. They're winning the competition from behind as well, and probably some more glamorous fixtures in regards to the Chelsea one, the PSG one. I think the PSG team, the players they had on display, and the way that game went, I was thinking it was over, and then all of a sudden, again, Benzema does what he does and comes out. So I think when it's all said and done, and these players will get a lot more recognition. I think everyone does when you retire, but they seem like they're going about it the right way and trying to regenerate the squad with fresh faces and still have the old guard there as well.
You've spoken about Vinicius Junior a lot of time, getting the vibe that you're a massive fan of him. What is it that makes him so special in your opinion?
I think he's so direct, he's so decisive in his movement, he's one of the fastest players, but he seems to enjoy using it as well. There's fast players out there that want to be more manipulative with the ball and want to show how good they are on the ball. He's like, no, I'm just going to run. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to run with or without the ball and just get in behind and create problems. And yeah, he's someone, because I don't have that pace, it's more exciting to watch.
We should talk about the other 4 teams on the other side of the draw. 3 Italian teams in there, obviously, and it's looking like Inter Milan will get through their tie with Benfica. AC Milan, Napoli more finely poised. How impressed have you been with Napoli this season? Because they've won some teams away in this competition already, haven't they? In Cavara, they look like they've got an unbelievable player.
Yeah, he's a special talent. Owen Hargreaves made me aware of him early on, and so yeah, I've kept a close eye on him. But again, they deserved where they are in the league, obviously dominating that. And this is a different animal they're playing. AC Milan in the Champions League is a different heritage and experience. I think it's similar to Real Madrid in that aspect. I think they beat them 4-0 recently in the league as well, so they're going to have that. They're going to have that in their favour. So that's a tough tie for Napoli. Tough ask to go. Is it at home or is it San Siro? So again, tough ask, but I think over the tie they go through. Napoli's probably the team I don't want to face from a City point of view in the final. Over one leg, it's not a team you'd enjoy playing against. And the other tie, Inter Milan, yeah, I see Inter Milan going through. I was confident before that game they would win both legs. Benfica are good, seen the Bruges games, but again, experienced players and just favour Inter Milan.
Just finally on the Champions League, then, if you had to name your finalists now, who would it be? You've got the winner of Italy, the 3 Italian teams.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the ones I predicted before the first legs, so I'll go Man City and Napoli.
Yeah. How would you see that game going?
Heart is saying City. Heads doesn't know yet. Doesn't know. Depends what kind of circumstance they go into the final with. They both could be champions. City could be on for the treble, so it could just be different.